What's actually pretty safe, but everyone treats it like it's way more dangerous than it is. Radiation. People will panic about Wi-Fi, microwaves, etc., and then will go out in the sun without sunscreen. Oh man, this one is classic. People wanting to get tan, but won't microwave their food. If we called it radiation burns instead of suntan, maybe it would drive the point home. This afternoon I got a radiation burn from exposing myself to the unshielded core of a fusion reactor. Going trick or treating. Yeah, I realized a couple of days ago that the only time I hear about poison Halloween candy is around Halloween when a bunch of whitey videos debunking it pop up. Traveling by plane. Obviously everyone doesn't think so, but trust me when I say there are so many individuals that don't want to fly. More than we know, it's shocking. A huge number of people in my family won't fly. I swear there's an actual flight anxiety gene. I love to travel, and every year I grow to fear flying even more. I now have to medicate myself, and even that isn't working as well anymore. My logic brain is fine with flying and knows all the stats. That's why I get on the plane. My lizard brain believes that each drop during turbulence is the beginning of a long death spiral to Earth. Lizard brain is loud. I think it's the lack of control people feel. Like if a plane is going down, there is literally nothing they can do to save themselves. They think they have more options in a car, bus, train. That is precisely what I find oddly calming about flying. I have an anxiety disorder and am often flooded with random worries. But once the doors of the airplane close, it actually has the opposite effect. Giving up control and just trusting that things will work out is a pretty good feeling. I mean, come on. It's a 200-ton steel bird with screaming engines that is chock full of people hoping that this thing will fly. How could I be preoccupied with my own little life at that point? I can be back to worrying about everyday things once we land. Swimming after eating. Because of this myth, my dad used to make me wait 30 minutes after eating dinner before I could take a shower. What could happen in a shower? You could get a cramp and drown, obviously. Because everyone looks straight up with their mouth open in the shower. I was told it was to reduce kids throwing up in the pool after eating. Nuclear power. I had a college course that discussed different forms of energy, and I'll never forget how the professor phrased it. With nuclear, there's an incredibly small chance of a big problem occurring. With coal, there is a certainty of a slow and steady problem happening every day. Logically, the former is preferable. But people are generally more comfortable with the latter for some reason. Hammerhead sharks. They were blamed for a lot of shark attacks. But the reality is they are not built for chomping people. They are aggressively territorial though, and that can freak people out. Sharks in general are not that dangerous. If they ate people intentionally, the ocean would be very dangerous. Attacks happen because we disguise ourselves as their food when we swim on the surface above them, tiger sharks or whites. Or when we wiggle our toes in the water they are hunting in, bull sharks. Bites are fatal because we bleed out in the water so easily. If we anthropomorphize them, most of the time sharks would apologize for the inconvenience they caused and assist us to shore, except bull sharks, they are holies. The other exception is cookie-cutter sharks. They are absolutely terrifying. And there's a species of hammerhead shark that can eat only seaweed and still survive. Toads. They don't give you warts? Invasive dog-killing toads are actually a thing in Florida, unfortunately. Stepping on a crack. But my mom's back. It's broken. No, that's my fault. It wasn't you stepping on the crack. It was me breaking into your house and dropping a piano on her back. Australia. That's what Australia would say. I've been living in remote NT Australia for the last 9 months and I am enormously disappointed I haven't seen a single snake, spider, or drop bear. Don't worry, the drop bear sees you. Vaccines. Conspiracy theories people spread or read to not use a vaccine of any kind is mind-blowing. I finished one of Jimmy Carter's books a while ago. It was about his childhood. He was talking about if someone got polio they'd all have to take days off school. Off topic, but would highly recommend the book. I don't think the average person has actually seen how dangerous these things can be. The resurgence of diseases makes me so mad that some people won't vaccinate. Bonus points if they talk about it being their choice, even though it actually impacts everyone else around them. But they also want to tell others who to love, what to do with their own bodies, control what they read. Kids playing outside or riding their bikes or in general not being hovered over by their parents. The parents think it's so dangerous outside, so they stick them in front of a screen, online, where all the predators are actually hanging out. Most predators are actually family, friends and familiar. If it really was that dangerous, most people older than 20 should have been dead many years ago. But you only ever see the 20-year-olds that survived. Survivorship bias. GMO foods. I can't stand all products in the stores yelling at me that they're non-GMO. I'd prefer they use GMO and be cheaper thanks to that. GMO hasn't been proved to be unsafe yet, but people are scared that their offspring will get 3 arms because genetically modified sounds scary. GMOs can also use less water and pesticides by being modified. People don't want to admit that GMO is better for the environment and better for us. Science scary! I was looking for this one. GMOs are actually improving the world, but crazy pseudoscience peddlers are ruining such a great scientific advancement. Spiders. 90% of spiders are not dangerous, and they also eat annoying bugs such as flies and mosquitoes. And yes, some spiders are dangerous, but unless you live in Brazil or Australia, your chances of finding dangerous spiders is so minuscule it's silly to worry about them. And me personally, I think all spiders are adorable. I've come across multiple black widows in my life, in the US, and a brown recluse once. I think they're not as easy to identify. Fortunately, didn't get bit. Sure, they're generally not deadly like some Australian spiders, but they're also not exactly rare in sheds, barns, and basements throughout the US. Brown recluse bites are scary because they apparently don't hurt at first. So you don't get treatment until it's been in your system a while, and then it's rough. A black widow bite at least hurts right off, so you know there's a problem. Plus, if I was told correctly, the venom from a brown recluse prevents the wound from healing, so you'll have a nasty open wound for like a year. I fought MRSA for over 7 years from a brown recluse spider bite. I finally had my lower right leg amputated. I am still free of MRSA now after 15 years. Handling raw chicken. Don't get me wrong, proper food prep is important for health and safety, but just being in the vicinity of raw chicken isn't going to instantly kill you. Some people act like if the chicken touches anything you have to fumigate your house and wash your hands for 20 minutes. I once died 5 times from touching raw chicken. I'm so sorry to hear that. Did you live? Nah, he died. Dying from touching raw chicken is always fatal. 5G and cellular technology in general. Rock climbing. Climbing ropes are really strong. You need to physically cut it for it to break. Usually my concern is with the belayer. Decking is a terrifying fear. Yep, most people don't really know how to do it properly. And the vast majority of people don't position themselves properly to be able to properly arrest a fall when they're belaying. Most climbing deaths are not from the rope breaking, but many climbers who've been around for a while will know someone who's died climbing. Usually it's from something that seems so silly and trivial, like forgetting to finish tying your knot, or missing one side of the rope when you clip into rappel. Don't get lazy with your safety checklists. Cooking pork, people think it can only served well done and dry as all hell. To be fair, it's only been a few decades since trichinosis became no longer a concern, at least in the US. Plenty of people alive today have been cooking pork for far longer than that, and still have the old habits. I can understand not taking the chance, were I them. I had a friend die about 2 years ago from this after eating improperly cooked pork. Loose small arms ammunition. You can drop it, throw it across the room, and even toss it in a campfire, you'll be just fine. You may hear a small pop bang if you do the oil campfire disposal though. But yeah, it doesn't need to be babied. It really is only dangerous in a gun barrel. Building implosion. Sure, there have been some implosions that have gone terribly wrong. However, implosion is usually the safest and most efficient method of demolishing a large building. To be fair, I think any method of demolition is extremely dangerous if you're inside the building. Forest fire fighting. More dangerous to drive a car there than fight the fire. Yes, we are trained professionals. Anesthesia. It's very, very safe, as long as it's administered and monitored by someone qualified. Anesthesia is funny in that in most procedures it is the most dangerous part, but those procedures without anesthesia on their own would be massively more dangerous. Letting your kids walk around unsupervised. Kids can go to the park, walk to school, go get a Slurpee, and so on in most neighborhoods with little to nothing to fear. It's an odds-making game. You play the lottery, knowing your chances of winning are minuscule, because even with the odds being that low, the payoff is so positive you don't want to miss out on it. Unsupervised kids are the flip side. The odds of them being abducted by a stranger are also incredibly low, but an abduction would be so awful that you'd get overprotective anyway. Skydiving. Skydiving is statistically safe, but when it goes wrong, you die. It's not like driving where it's overall more likely to go wrong, but there's a good chance you'll survive a crash. If skydiving goes wrong, you're probably splatting into the ground like a watermelon. Opening credit cards to build a healthy credit score. This is maybe more of a Japan thing, but traveling abroad, particularly to the United States. What's actually safe but people act like it's super dangerous? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.